This is a new logo for Stephen F. Austin, isn't it?
No, I'm pretty sure they've had that, but
Maybe I've
regardless,
just not seen a game yet.
maybe. We're now live from NCBB Season 36. This is the season opener for the league. We've got the Karak University Dwarves, coached by Zedarog on one side. On the other, the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks. Lumbering Jacks? Yeah, there's an ing in there. Coached by Durthu. So the first game in the BCS for Durthu. This is their second season, so they're fresh out of the non-AQ. 5-0-5 last season, got a bowl game. Didn't win it, but a promising start for a Khemri team. Karak did make a bowl game. They won 4 games last season, but not quite as good as they hoped after a very, very good out-of-conference start where they went 3-0-0 for falling during conference play. But right now with me, we've got Wog and Nelfine, 2 of our conference commissioners. So, gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Doing well. Thank you for asking, X.
Of course.
I mean, I get to watch the first game where UAC is going to kick the ass out of another conference, so this is amazing.
Yes, tell us about the UAC. I noticed you guys were having like a name discussion for several hours. Was there any consensus, or are we still like opening, the phone lines? What's the deal?
Yeah, phone lines are still open. We're waiting on at least one other coach, possibly 2, to put in comments about it. The original version of UAC comes from a Canadian conference, and it's apparently very boring. Other people don't like it, so we're not sure if we'll stick with it. So we're trying to get something a little more exciting.
So your conference is democratic, huh?
For things like names and aesthetics, absolutely. For things like beating the crap out of your opponents, I mean, we're not democratic. We're just all going to win.
Well, you'll have to test that when you actually play against each other, because obviously not all of you can win in that scenario. But regardless, we'll see if Stephen F. Austin can get the win here. Not an easy task.
With 2 bribes and a chainsaw.
Yes, that is a good start for his inducements, but not all of his inducements.
A chainsaw against dwarves is a terrible idea.
Or the greatest idea. Because when you get a kill,
that's the greatest idea.
When you get a kill on the second block of the season, and then you chainsaw the dwarf at the bottom, presumably, he better not take the chainsaw down there. He better use the blitzer. Oh no. I think he's going to send the chainsaw down. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, there's correct ways to use a chainsaw, and there's incorrect ways to use a chainsaw. If they can hit the chainsaw after you use it, you are using the chainsaw wrong.
Right, and what he should be doing is doing a 3-die block on Elric with the Mighty Blow, and then fouling him with the chainsaw.
Correct. Although he does have sidestep. But,
that's why you do a 3-die block. Right, I mean, then he's surrounded anyway.
Oh, right, you should just move the Skelly, get the 3-die. Granted, it worked, but...
I pretty much hate the chainsaw.
I mean, I love these 2 guardians, though. That's 2 casualties on the first turn of the game. That is how you start a season.
Especially against dwarves. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. And then they fail to pick up. So pretty standard Khemri.
This is Khemri. This is why you play Khemri. Kills against dwarves and no ball. Oh, I thought Bryce was the one with sidestep. Secret stand firm is not nearly as useful against dwarves.
True. Especially, I'm guessing that Slayer's going to be coming right for his bony body. And he's probably dead. Well, he's still there for now. And Zedarog making a gap and pushing the dwarves through. The boys they're going for the ball. It's not what dwarves do.
And the Juggernaut on the Slayer actually mattered there. That's not something we actually see a lot.
True. I do love me some Juggernaut, but it's not often you see it go up against Stand Firm just head to head. Those are two skills that are later on in the tech tree, perhaps, than coaches usually get these players in this league.
Dwarves with a foul.
Wait, did he just foul with the Slayer?
No,
Yes,
it was a Longbeard, wasn't it?
No, he's bashing Bob, the other Slayer.
Slayer.
Now, I realize the odds of getting him off the field with the +3 are pretty significant, but...
No, you don't get the chainsaw on a foul.
Oh. Well, I realize the odds of getting him off the field with AB8 and one... Well, yeah, I mean... I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a great move, but it's certainly entertaining.
Yep, I approve. Zidorog is absolutely playing it right now. Let's watch these two teams kill each other, and that will be absolutely amazing. So, Blitz Rash Roy. Ooh, that, like, no block, 2 die. That was a very risky start.
Yeah, if you're going to be using your mummies aggressively on blitzes, you better be setting up 3 dies, especially since none of them have been fortunate enough. Okay, one has block, but
Yep,
still.
that's what I was going to say. Like, why would you blitz with one that doesn't have block? It seems very odd.
Because you want to skill up the one that doesn't to get him blocked next, right?
That's what MVPs are for.
I suppose.
Okay, guys. GoTrek wants to play, so I'm gonna go do my first NBFL thing then.
Oh, I mean, first off,
Good luck, man.
that's rude that there's no like time, like warrant, like advance notice. 2, there's another game on right now, so you're just trying to steal their thunder. And C, good luck.
Thank you. All right, guys.
Gotta move back there and cover that ball.
What are you afraid of, the dwarves?
Yes, have you seen the way he plays? He's absolutely an aggressive ball-playing dwarf.
And his record shows it.
Well, yes.
Now, Karak University, we love them. They enjoy the fluff. They posted the character rankings, I suppose you would call it, which judged every team's fluff in the league, gave them a score, and ranked them accordingly. But on the field success is something Karak has just not quite found in general throughout their history, but they're going to give it their best shot, just like that Khemri thrower. Took him 3 tries, but he finally picked up the ball. 3 die rolls, but...
So no, he failed last turn, so it's 4 rolls.
Well, no, he made it on the 4th one. So,
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
well, you're probably more correct. He didn't make it until the 4th roll, but regardless. Let's see. Texas Tech versus Camu, 3-ish p.m. Central tomorrow. Camu, I'm guessing, is Karak?
I have no idea.
Oh, I got pinged in the NBFL chat, but it's just Lorebass making fun of me for doing this game.
Wow, we're going to have at least 3 NDFL games going.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because we got Jeffro and Laura Bass. We just had Log and GoTrek start, and then at 9 o'clock is my game with Bill Bresky.
9 p.m. Eastern, I take it then.
Yes.
Okay. Man, this is a busy Thursday night. We've got NCBB, we've got NBA, we've got NBFL, and we've got actual NFL. So, man.
I don't understand what that 3rd one is.
I forgot which one I said was the 3rd one.
The NNFL? What?
You're not familiar? You're missing out. Going for the Dauntless -2 die.
Oh no.
Doesn't quite get it.
This is looking like the dwarves get to push forward in a solid, like, cage. Like, 2 people blocking cage.
Yeah, the old Khemri power sweep, apparently. What's his name? Vince Lombardi would be proud. And this does not appear to be like one of those classic 8-turn Khemri stalls. They're already over midfield on turn 3, despite the fact they failed to pick up on turn 1.
Yeah. Well, I think this is just going to end up being the blitzer and the thrower sitting in the corner while the Tomb Guardians speed everything else up for 6 turns. Or however long.
Yeah, what do you think they're going to talk about? I mean, they're the skeletal remains of former players and, you know, citizens of Nehekara, if my Warhammer fluff is up to date. So, do they reminisce about the olden days? Or...
No. I think Samtek is going to sit there and tell Mosey how to do his job, and then Mosey's going to eventually just punch him in the face, and that's going to be how he scores.
He's going to punch him, but push him into the end zone.
Absolutely.
Okay, love it. I don't know how much, if at all, you've played the Total War Warhammer series.
It's a good one.
It is a good one. And I'm not saying this because Einer just joined. I really want to do like a long Khemri campaign in the Mortal Empire, which is the large map, and it takes like 300 turns. Because Khemri's units just all look so badass. Like, just their game mechanics are difficult and it's very slow, especially early on. But their units are just so cool.
It being slow is the case no matter where you start in that campaign.
Not always. There's certainly some that you can get off to a good start with. But Khemri, specifically with their Canopig jars and stuff, and the fact that you just earn like no gold early on, it makes it really difficult to do a whole lot. Just like the Chainsaw, apparently, who's failed 2 of his block actions. But, no. The Tomb Scorpions, the Chariots, the Sphinxes, the Necropolis Knights, like, all that stuff is so cool. I don't really want to start with Cetra, because they seem just kind of like the easy pick.
But Kalita is fun. She gets the poison arrow at the arrow of the asp.
Yeah.
Which is actually a nice throwback to the tabletop game. When in Warhammer Fantasy, because the Tomb King army, like the Vampire Counts didn't have any ranged units at all.
Right.
Tomb Kings had archers, and they didn't care. Range, in terrain, they were just flat 5 up no matter what. The Arrow of the Asp, if you took High Queen Kalita as your lord, basically gave all your arrows poison 6+. So on the roll of 6, you're just wounded. So you know only those hits of 5 you would then have to roll to wound.
Okay. I like Kalita. I think I did a really long campaign with Deathmaster Snitch and Eshin, who are just to the right of them on the map, and so I feel like it'd be a very similar campaign, just playing that side of the globe.
Yeah, you got to deal with the last defenders a lot.
True. I gave him a good shanking, I guess, and there's a nice snake from a dwarf. Yeah, so
I mean,
last defender
knocked themselves out last turn, so I think it's fair that the dwarf snake.
True. Both teams have used rerolls on questionable blocks. You know, your dice haven't really helped you there with that snake on the GFI, but dwarves getting outflanked here. Chainsaw somehow 0 for 2 on blocks, but also 0 for 2 on getting, well, 0 for 3 really on getting taken off the field by the dwarves. 2 blocks and a foul haven't done the job, so he's a tough Chainsaw. I'll give him that. I did finish the Vortex campaign for the first time with Lizardmen a couple weeks ago, but I want to get back into a good old Mortal Empire campaign. I think I started one with whichever Khemri Legendary Lord is in the top left in the Dark Elf realm. I think it's Katep, but kind of got off to a rough start and didn't really feel like continuing, so I gotta get back to the drawing board on that one. Zedarog lamenting bad choices and bad rolls, not the best start. Perhaps not, although, I mean, we, as commentators and spectators, were certainly entertained by the first turn when the Tomb Guardians injured 2 dwarves, including our first sploosh of the season.
Yep. I'm also happy that Aenir and Baz have joined us, since I'll be leaving shortly, and so I'm glad you'll have some other commentators to go with. I am hoping that this game continues to have lots of blood. This is amazing. And I'm also hoping that Durthu just absolutely destroys the opposition, because that's what the UAC is supposed to do.
Yeah, that would be a good start to your conference's history, I suppose. We'll see if the chainsaw can do something. And for the 3rd time, he fails to do anything.
Foul. You got 2 bribes. Why aren't you just fouling the heck out of things with that chainsaw? Oh my gosh.
Well, he has been in contact ever since he was put into contact the first turn.
He's been doing fouls every round with skeletons. Like,
Fouling dwarves.
That's what Nelfine said early. He's like, a chainsaw versus dwarves is so awful. And then we got distracted by the Tomb Guardians injuring 2 of the dwarves, and the chainsaw has done nothing since, although he has not gotten hurt somehow either.
But the dwarves are also fouling back, so everyone is making terrible fouling choices. So it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
rivals?
No, they're just aggressive and.
I was gonna say
Aggressive.
that Manoa.
That's the best thing about a chainsaw,
But,
is the other team blitzes them.
I want to
Should
say
you
Manoa
not?
Loco is super happy about this, though. All the fouls.
Not really. He's a foul-happy guy, but if he doesn't like kill something with a foul, and there's another failed GFI, I mean, he probably swears in 3 different languages, so we just can't hear him.
Pretty sure we hear him.
Well, when he's doing commentary with us, we definitely hear him. He does some just like weird, like, I'm not even sure what like animal noises they are, honestly.
Yeah, watching the replay of Navy versus TCU. Oh.
He gets excited. Guess I'll take a look at who these teams are in a group with. God, yeah, there's a lot of NBFL games starting. Who these teams are in a group with.
What else has started? Oh, Wog.
Yeah, Wog was with us here in the booth, and then he said, "Oh, GotW wants to play bye." I was like, "All right, good luck." I would have liked to do that game, or certainly I had planned to do the Jeffra Lorbass game, but then Menno said they were going to play at this time, and I was like, "All right, we're going to do the NBFL or the NCBB season opener." And then he didn't show up; he had something come up, and then Durthu was here, and he was like, I'll play Zedarog, and then this is our game." We just also have 3 NBFL games on, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to step out to get ready for my NBFL game, so I will talk to you guys later.
Good luck, Nelfine.
Too much at once.
It's true.
But yeah, you're missing quite possibly the first game between Khorne and Old World Alliance in the entire world.
Certainly the highest TV matchup.
Yep, I totally agree, but oh well. Have a good night, guys.
See you, man. Alright, to my earlier inquiry, it looks like this grouping is UNAM, Karak, Texas Tech, and Stephen F. Austin. So that's Menno's Necro, Texas Tech, that's Hyperbeliners Lizards. In addition to these dwarves in Khemri. Certainly a pretty bashy quartet. They've been pretty sparse on injuries ever since the opening turn where we had the 2. Zedarog mentioning the guy whose career was ended on the first casualty of the season, second block of the season, was a 23-game experienced player with 0 SPPs, so not a terrible loss, I suppose.
You'd think there'd be more people here celebrating the beginning of the NCBB.
True. Certainly had quite a few people for the show last night, but that was also announced ahead of time, multiple times. I know the upcoming matches channel had a few postings, but nothing was like, by the way, season opener, 7 o'clock. I've been busy this afternoon, so I didn't get a chance to do it myself, but certainly the promotion for this game was, well, rather the other game was not quite there.
I was going to blame Nurgle Rot 19. You know, less fans, all that sort of stuff.
Let's just blame Menaloco.
No, he threatened to foul anyone who showed up.
I mean, he's going to foul them whether they show up or not. That's just how he plays.
Yeah.
So the dwarves here, instead of sending people like towards the ball or just kind of locking up and going for blocks, they've either conceded the score this half or just like a challenge, I suppose. Let's see what Service said in the Twitch chat. Interesting side story. My Kernos Service that leads his wild hunt in the CBFL is named Lumbering Jack. 1 month later, Steve F. Austin named their program Lumbering Jacks. Rivalry material, I suppose. I don't know how well-versed Service is in small Texas like colleges, but Steve F. Austin is an actual college somewhere in the southeast, I guess, or east in Texas. I don't have much knowledge of the school myself, but I've heard of its existence at least.
Nacogdoches. Or however the hell you pronounce that.
One of my junior high teachers said it was pronounced Nasty Roaches, because apparently that's all you get over there. But Nacogdoches, that makes sense. Haven't been there myself. I've probably been through there on family trips to Louisiana and the like, but... is he going to start his turn with a chainsaw blitz?
Not really sure it's the kind of place you drive through. It's not on the way to either Shreveport or Lake Charles, which is usually what you'd be going through, one or the other, most likely, if you're going into Louisiana.
Yeah, Shreveport, certainly. So maybe I have not partaken in Nacogdoches then. So far during this commentary, we've talked extensively about Total War Warhammer, Texas geography, and several other things besides this game, but that's what happens when Khemri just get the ball and walk downfield without the dwarves doing anything.
Well, Wog got a niggling injury on his block Croxagore on
the very first turn. Oh no. You probably got to cut the guy, right?
Yeah, probably.
That's a shame. Was it a claw bloater or something that got him, or?
No claw.
No claw.
It's Mighty Blow.
Just Mighty Blow. That happens. I know I was playing, I believe, Ottawa last season. Game was going relatively okay, and then one of Nelfine's whites just uses Mighty Blow and like badly hurts a Croxagore, and it started the trickle-down effect to where I'm starting to get outstrength across the board. Service asking, why would they be logging in Texas anyway? Well, to my knowledge, East Texas is actually pretty heavily forested. So perhaps we had lumberjacks doing their thing back in the day there, or maybe to this day.
Lumber is actually a pretty major industry in Texas. The Permanent University Fund that funds UT and A&M was originally based in East Texas off of lumber before they moved it to the Panhandle for oil.
A little bit of Texas history for you guys, too. Yeah, certainly people are relatively aware that oil is pretty big in Texas. I was not as aware of our proficiency in lumber, but we're, you know, versatile, hostile, and mobile.
I'd say it's big enough that, you know, they probably have, you know, we're pretty big up in all sorts of natural resource categories.
Indeed, there was a day a couple years ago, and perhaps more often than that, where there was literally all 4 different types of seasons going on in Texas at the same time. West Texas was going through like a blizzard. North Texas had torrential storms, just rain and all that good stuff. South Texas was 100 degrees, and East Texas was just kind of off doing their little spring or fall thing. So, a very fun state, to say the least.
I heard something interesting. Like if you're traveling across, traveling across Texas, if you get to somewhere where everyone thinks it's like at the edge of Texas, you're only like halfway through the trip. Something along like that. I forget what the exact thing was about it.
Crossing Texas takes what, like 18 hours, Baz, if you're going from Louisiana border to El Paso, for example. Something like that.
And that's, I think, if something like if you're going to the West Coast, that's the halfway part of the trip, and you've been in Texas the entire time.
That sounds about right. I don't really know the girth of New Mexico and Arizona off the top of my head, but I imagine it's pretty close to width of Texas, now that you mention it.
First injury of the NFL season, Kansas City players down.
Oh. Is Houston up 24-0 again?
No, 0-0.
Oh, well. Let's just hope that's not a repeat of last season's playoff game.
Yeah. Although watching Andy Reid with the face shield on his baseball cap is kind of funny looking.
I'm going to have to see a picture of that. I mean, it's going to be a weird season in a lot of ways. Also, I'm going to double check how many fouls the two teams have done so far, because, it's not as many as I thought. It's only 3 for Stephen F. and 1 for Karak. So, not quite in danger of getting in trouble yet. I guess I will remind everybody that the limit for regular season games is still 4. Rivalry games, which are like the officially recognized ones, not something you just say in the chat, it's now limited to 6 fouls a game. It's not unlimited anymore. We're going to try that out. So just don't get a little overzealous and forget. It's very easy to do when you have multiple leagues, or just hop on to play NCBB, your 1 game a week. Not everybody can be MRT and Bill Brasky and just play FUMBBL all the time.
Even though we all want to.
Indeed. Oh, little skeleton doing a dodge and stuff. I had 2 GFIs. Good job. Good job, little skeleton.
I'm of 2 minds about this. On one hand, Karak has been very gracious and has helped me with my character rankings and led me to my new bio.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, got a pull for the conference. On the other hand, Khemri. So you see my conundrum here.
Indeed. Not to mention, if these Khemri continue to injure the dwarves, that helps you down the road.
It's only good for like a month at a time, when he has to swap it. And he just takes it off the night before when it's due.
We'll see if the dwarves can attempt something on the ball here. Certainly pressuring the ball doesn't do anything. There's only 1 turn left in the half, but if you get a shot on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have a negative 2 on the ball.
Yeah. A couple turns ago, when he led off with the Troll Slayer on the Tomb Guardian, he had a chance with a single dodge to one die the thrower.
Okay.
But he
didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you dodge here and double GFI, tag those guys. You have to dodge, double GFI, but you get your shot on the ball. Or you could fail and knock yourself out in the process, but that was your one chance to make a play.
Actually, come to think of it, could you surf him and do this? I think you can surf in this situation.
Well, chooses not to, but Khemri, you're going to get a touchdown here. Very good start for Stephen of Austin. Oh no, he's going for extra blocks. And if you set up a 3-die and use the block mummy, I'm not that opposed to it. But in general...
And don't forget you can go for your 4th foul as well.
No, he's using the other mummy, but it doesn't matter when you roll like that.
I'd say you should probably try to block one of the Longbeards off and get extra assists and try for one of the Troll Slayers on a foul, because I mean you've got 1 turn left of Bryce before he's tossed.
You have bribes.
It's not a guarantee though. And if he's tossed, what's the point of the bribes? If you're then
But if you get caught here on the foul, and then, as you said, the bribe's not a guarantee, you get caught again, and the ref's just like, nah, dude, I don't want that. And you fail to score, I mean, this half just, it's all for nothing.
That's true. Well, I don't know about all for nothing. You remove 5 pieces off a dwarf team, that's always a big plus.
But your
It means nothing if you don't score.
Yeah, the ability of you to steal the ball from them and score in the second half is not great. And he's going to go for... I mean, you can get a... No, you can't get a 3-die with a double guard.
Yeah, I don't even like blocking there.
No, I mean, he had a 3-die that he did with another Tomb Guardian. He didn't use the block one to do it. But it all works out.
Oh!
It really
double
works
worked
out. Khemri are up 1-0. Ref is impressed by the bribe. Doesn't notice the chainsaw as, I mean, there's not a speck of blood on it. In fact, there's dust maybe or dirt because he's been on the ground half the time. But all right, good start for Khemri, Stephen of Austin, and indeed the UAC conference in general. We'll see what Zedarog and his mighty dwarves can do to respond. The SCC certainly has a lot of pride as a conference, as Einir would attest to.
Sorry, say again. I broke up.
Your conference has a lot of pride.
Yes, we do.
Do you expect TCU to be the top contender from your group again, or you think Ball State has a chance to repeat, or how do you see your conference playing out?
Well, like I said yesterday in the predictions, I think Ohio Wesleyan goes to the playoffs, but I think TCU takes the conference.
Okay. I mean, I think the world of Jeffro, especially as a Pro Elf coach, he just has a very fun style where he can win a lot of games. It's going to cost him quite a few players along the way, but I mean, he's there for the fans and there for the touchdowns, and I think his team is a season or 2 away from being really, really dangerous. But when you have,
it all comes down to if he can, grind through the slaughterhouse that is the SCC. Quite possibly, I think it's up there with the bashiest conference, just on team chosen. It's right up there with the bashiest conferences in the league.
Baz, I think you had a thought?
Yeah, Ohio Wesleyan turned down a rivalry offer, so I have to root against them.
I don't blame you. Every single player on his team.
A rivalry offer?
I mean, Einir, I don't want to hear that from you. Last night, Zedarog threw the gauntlet to you live in our show, and you waffled on it worse than Mrs. Butterworth.
That's not a no. That's not a no, though.
That's just not
and
a
I
yes.
did, and I did accept it anyway.
So your Pikachu gif where he's like nodding yes, like that was you officially saying yes.
Yeah, the Pikachu yes is the yes to the rivalry.
Okay, well I thought, you'd be a man and like use the word yes, but it's fine. I can translate gifs too sometimes. But no, Jeffro's got quite the foundation for his team already. 4 Pro Elf catchers, 2 blitzers, although 3 of those aforementioned 6 players have a perm already. But he also has Jetbender, the freshman of the year, plus strength, block, dodge, mighty blow, 65 SPPs in 11 games. That's more SPPs than, hell, many graduates in this entire league get in 4 seasons. All right, Thrown Rock. 2 Thrown Rocks. Double stun. I love the fact that Stim in the NBFL, who's a coach that I've played maybe a grand total of twice and have talked to probably a grand total of twice. That's a good injury there by the Slayer. He blamed Amon's disappearance on me throwing a rock at one of his bloaters and killing it, and that's another nice block.
Second one.
Man, talk about injuries, get injuries. I like it. Basically, he blamed the thrown rock equals sploosh on me and Amon's disappearance, henceforth. And I'm rolling with it.
Yeah, you were the only person watching that game at the time.
Yes,
So
Baz was definitely not there as well.
I was not. The commissioner had nothing to do with this.
Oof, that's a lot of armor breaks.
I mean, you're AV7. It's bound to happen. Trust me, I play AV7 team in SLA, and I'm just like, alright, first block of the game, who's going down first? That is it for the first half. Steve F. Austin up 1-0. It does kind of mirror the Khemri first turn, that's for sure, Service. But we still have just enough skeletons, I believe, to field
and a chainsaw.
roster. And a chainsaw, of course. We've got 11 dwarves as well, so certainly nothing to be too worried about if you're Zedarog. I mean, most likely result at this point, you can get a 1-1 tie, but considering you had 2 players hurt on the first turn and a lot of small things didn't go your way, wouldn't be a terrible result. Certainly not the 3-0-0 start that you had last season in the out-of-conference play, but, I mean, that didn't get you too far because you only won 1 game the rest of the season, albeit you did make a bowl. And I don't think Karak won it, but still.
No, I think SEC only won 1 bowl game last season. I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Pedal Warfare and his Humies.
Ball State, that sounds right, because I know you didn't beat Oregon, TCU didn't beat SMU, Karak didn't beat John Molson, if I recall, in the Chainsaw Slaughter Bowl or whatever it is. Also, we didn't pick a theme bowl for this season. That's something I recognized whenever I was doing the announcement PMs, and I'm thinking about some kind of like Mad Hatter Bowl with like 10 cards per side or something crazy like that. I mean, we could tweak the numbers, but
what about the Astrogranite Bowl? Bring back the old Astrogranite rules again instead of playing on grass.
Yeah, we don't have that much control over things.
I thought it was something you did. You can put like the Astrogranites, like when people hit the ground, they like +1 to injuries and everything.
I'm not sure anybody in this league would agree to play to that, but
I do. I don't care if I lose players. It's 50-50 chance they're gonna come back.
Suppose that's true. But how are you going to play in that game when you're playing in the McNurgles? Too soon?
Well, yeah. I look forward to seeing you in the McNurgles, and you and Cal in the McNurgles.
I would rue the day. Rue it. Granted, I didn't even make a bowl last year. I was 3-6-1, so I was just short. It happens from time to time. Conference certainly got... Go ahead.
I was just saying it was kind of funny because watching I was watching the TCU Navy game when I saw it won, and I was like, you even made the joke that can't even make fun of Navy because I had won more games than you did because you had like 4 ties at the time.
Last year was just crazy, but yeah.
Dogs and cats living together, giant Twinkies, you know the drill.
Indeed. I could go for a giant Twinkie right now, actually. Sounds pretty good. Regardless, I do think my conference certainly got easier over the off-season with Charlie in Wisconsin switching out for a new team, and then obviously Nelfine and Ottawa leaving to form their own conference. Those are 2 very solid programs.
You just wanted Ottawa out of your conference.
I mean, Ottawa's certainly a challenge. Even after Julian Starr graduates, I assume Nelfine's going to be very good with them. But I don't know. Undead teams and Necro teams in particular have always given me issues as Lizards. I don't have a great feel for how to deal with them right now. Not to mention...
I was going to say, for at least on the necromantic point, it's usually because they have the speed to catch up to your skinks, isn't it? And they're still stronger.
No, that doesn't bother me, but that injury definitely, and that doctor, oh my god. NCBB doctors, or just Blood Bowl doctors in general, man. So terrible.
This is where we put the clip in. I don't believe that man's ever been to medical school.
Sometimes I wish I was playing like Khemri or Necro or something where you don't even have to have the doctor's like faint hope there to tease you, because he's I mean, garbage is a strong word, but and it's not working there, but the dice roll does.
Do you remember the old apothecary, where it was like a flat, well, not a flat, but it was like you wanted to apothecary something, it was a 2-up chance to make it, period, and it'd be healed or wouldn't be, and regenerate would still be the 4-up.
Was that LRB4?
I think so.
Wasn't the Apo at the end of the game though?
No, I remember it being like when the injury occurred. So it was like a nearly guaranteed chance to heal him versus the only 50% chance. But then it was countered by the fact that, you only could use it once unless you had a wandering.
Right.
Versus everyone getting it.
Okay. It was before my time. I seem to I heard something about at some point the Apo only would bring the player back after the game. But that might have been even earlier.
Seems to be. Yeah.
All before I played.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like LRB4, but it's been a while. Regardless, that doctor didn't do his job. We were talking about something right before that happened, and I've completely forgotten.
FUMBBLs.
No, it was after that. We were talking about conferences and Nelphine and lizards versus... Oh, it was Necromantic. You're asking me about Necromantic. No, the issue of them chasing my skinks doesn't bother me a ton. Because I'd rather them blitz a skink than a Saurus. Because for years I had a rivalry with Ryan Fitz and his Yukon team, which was a Necromantic team in the league. They won a championship or two, if I recall. Probably 2. But just that matchup in particular, their Claw Mighty Blow Wolves, and then their Fouling Zombies, like, the games would, like, either I would clear him off the field, or he would clear me off the field. There really wasn't in between. So either his legions of Claw, like zombie boots, would just crush my Saurai, or my team would resist that, and then I would just punch his team in the face, and they would go off the field. But in general,
he was a good coach.
He was a good coach, and it seemed like he was winning more of those battles than I was. So Necro are a team that I don't enjoy playing with lizards. And Undead are similar to where Nomad has always given me problems when he was playing his Clemson program in the league. Because his mummies were stronger than my Saurai, and then he could tie up other ones with just like a 40k zombie, and all of a sudden, like, my really good Saurus is just sitting there going, well, I gotta deal with this stupid little smelly thing, but it's not really what I want to be doing. So, Baz, do you have any thoughts on, like, the Necro and Undead matchups as lizards?
I mean, it's anything foul heavy can be a bit of an issue just because you can't. I mean, like, you're giving up a foul to start every defensive drive.
Right.
And so that can quickly snowball on you. Necro in particular, I mean, there's the Claw, there's the Dirty Player, they have a decent amount of speed. Looking at it, I've done fairly well in both matchups. I'd have to check the TVs of those teams. Like, obviously, once you get to a certain TV, Undead's not much of an issue anymore in general. Mm-hmm. But against Undead, a lot of it is against both of them, don't let your Saurus just be single marked by zombies.
Right.
Work them in tandem kind of thing. Try to stay in front as much as you can because, like, their speed differences are a really big deal, right? Like, if you can make it so that the positionals have to break away on their own, you have the speed to run them down, while the rest of their team doesn't have the speed to catch up. So that's kind of where the game's won or lost, I think.
Okay. Divide and conquer, then.
Turns.
All right, Dwarves doing a nice play there, although it does come at a risk of a 1 die, but they move the line, get a good block on the Tomb Guardian, perhaps.
We've had a quad skull in the Lorbass Jeffro and BFL game.
Was it by the Bloodthirster?
No, it was not.
It was by an old world. It was by the Old World Alliance human blitzer, who had the ball popped from him and then quad skulled while blitzing to try to get it back, I think, or blitzing to try to clear it to get it back.
Classic.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I was just thinking with you in particular, with the other teams in NCBB, how Lizards tend to go a little less guard heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably hurting you in the hybrid matchups.
True. Also, that's an interesting choice, unless he's blocking with that guy. Okay. My assumption was he was blocking with the blocker next to the top left Tomb Guardian, so you could get your blocker away from him. But now you're giving up a shot on the ball. It's not a good shot on the ball, though. It's a blodger. It's a one die.
Wow.
Oh, dwarf dodge.
A dwarf dodge. A dwarf foul!
Okay, that was... Oof, I was not prepared for any of that, man.
No, I mean, I think I would have let him try the one die on the blodging ball carrier.
Yeah, I mean, he was gonna have to get a knockdown just to even make it a one die.
Oh yeah, there's more guard up there
guard
too. Yeah, that's true.
Marking them, so unless you get a knockdown there, it's a one die. I mean, it worked out, but whew, pretty spicy play there.
Yeah, 3 fouls for both teams so far, so better make the last one count. But yeah, your point about the guard makes a lot of sense. It's a skill that I just have not taken a ton of in the past, and especially when the league was slower and player progression was slower and you couldn't get 3 skills on half your Sorai by the time they graduated. It was certainly tougher to divert to that.
Yeah, you'll see like in box a lot of, because I mean obviously much bashier meta than here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Lizard coaches go guard second on like 5 of the 6 soars.
Mm-hmm.
Just super heavy into it, which I've become more and more of a fan of when I'm playing a team to feed into their strengths, right? Like, and skills that help every game. That's why I'm low on tackle now compared to others. I mean, you want 1 or 2, but I'd much rather have, if you have a bunch of guard with Lizards, it's like, okay, now your strength's overwhelming.
Right.
But once again, NCBB, just the way it's structured, that's hard to pull off, especially when you're dealing with so many elf teams.
Yeah. And even worse when the elf teams have freaks like Jason Armstrong, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I do have this dream of having a Lizard team with, like, 3 block guard stand firm guys and 3... Probably not 3, but just for the sake of the argument, 3 block frenzy Saurus types. So one's gonna be like block frenzy, vital jugs and stuff. But just like a grab and stand firm and guard and frenzy heavy Saurai lineup, and it's just gonna be so much fun. Don't need to break tackle. Let's just work in the buddy system and support each other and just beat the shit out of everything. I think you gotta blitz the dwarf runner at the bottom and just kind of halt their advance, correct?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the issues with Khemri, right? Is like most teams against dwarves are like, okay, if they start pushing up the sideline, that's fine if we can make them score turn 5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's not going to cut it.
Well, dwarves are going to have some decisions to make. I believe they're down a player, I think 2 at this point. They've got quite a few tied up here, so they either got to commit to the south, commit to the north. I mean, if you wanted to be ballsy, I suppose you could go through the middle, but with the 2 Tomb Guardians there, I'm not sure that's feasible. Could back up, but you're a little slow, so you don't want to risk running out of time. Looks like he's going south.
Yeah, I don't think you have time to reverse. I don't think that reversing into the teeth of the Tomb Guardians is really a winning plan anyway. I think you pretty much have to commit to just pushing right up the gut here, and it's gonna be tough. You're just low on players.
You have 5
might reroll
rerolls.
this.
Yeah, I don't think you really have anything else to do this turn. Unless you want to do some negative 2-dies and fun stuff like that.
Ooh, and Anki is missed next game on a foul in Wog's game. He's getting beat a little bit. He did badly hurt a bloater, but the bloater regen. So
of course it did. Should have pushed harder. Maybe it's tough with dwarves. I don't have much experience with them. I know Karak has started to use them in SLA or the dwarf variant. He's using the Slayer team, and then he's got one of the non-AQ, so he's taking the dip in the pool. But I've never really been brave enough to. It's a difficult roster to get a feel for. Positioning, timing.
Yeah, it's like very much that easy to learn, tough to master type of team. And like in a situation like this, when you're just down players, it's hard to get much of anything going when you're outmanned. I mean, what we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we have a full 11 for? Ooh, don't like that reroll.
Well, he had 5.
I mean, I didn't like the block to begin with.
Right. If you were gonna,
I guess you have to reroll once you do the block, but yeah, I mean, you're just kind of squeezed. You got 5. You got what, 9 dwarves against 11 Khemri.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now pretty simple to mark the back of the cage with the Tomb Guardian, and you can just kind of scrunch them.
I do think that something teams can do a better job of when they're facing a team that has a big front line, like this Khemri team, for example, or the other day in the NBFL when Claz's Necro were playing Arcturus' pack team, which has 3 big guys, obviously, as a pack team, but they're all like blodge, stand firm, guard type players, and they're just scrunched on the line of scrimmage, and it's really hard for almost any team to block them. Spread out more. I know you're dwarves, and I know you're Necro, and these other teams that just feel the need to block everything in front of you, but sometimes...
Necro shouldn't be one of those teams to begin with.
I mean, he did have like Ramtut and something else, so like he had the potential to block them. It just, if it didn't work, which it didn't, it put you in a terrible position. But you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
like Necro need to avoid that.
What I was mentioning about you not letting Saurus get tied up on zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Here, you want those Tomb Guardians on islands if you're the dwarves. Your trade a blocker, or your trade any player on your team, really, one-on-one for the Tomb Guardians if they can't help each other. Because as long as they're not supporting each other, they can't really... It's easy to get them out of the play. They're not going to catch back up.
I think we're going to be watching a crack of the ball carrier shortly.
Not a... Oh, is he using the Tomb Guardian, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it's a 2-die against a blodger. And if you push him... Yeah, if you can fill in... Oh, no. If you could have filled in that gap, you could have pushed him into your tackle blitzer. But if you roll a POW, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Scatter is solid for the Khemri. You've got a guard there, no guard there, so you can't block the blitzer yet.
But you can put up to 3 tackle zones on the ball.
Right, but I was thinking if you could push him with a chain and clear him, you could get the thrower over there, pick it up, and the game is pretty close to over if you can grab it and GFI back. For some reason I thought I saw pass action, but no, indeed, he just goes in for the pickup, gets it, dodges backwards with a reroll, GFIs again, and that's going to be tough for the dwarves.
Yeah, I think that's probably done it.
Was not expecting that.
I'll go ahead and give that a little bit of a cheer. I mean, just on principle, the 5+ pickup with Sure Hands is actually like, what, like 53%?
55%.
55%. So yeah, it's not a terrible play. It's certainly not something you want to do a ton of, but for example, I've played Crichton so many times over the years in various leagues, NBFL, NCBB, where he's just needed to do one play to turn the game, and if it's a 5+ dodge into a cage with dodge, but then you get a 2-die on the ball carrier, for example, because it's a skink, that's the play you need to make sometimes. Now, 55% is not a good play in usual Blood Bowl terms, but if it's a game-winning play or game-altering play, sometimes you have to take that shot, and that's what Durthu did there, and it worked out for his Khemri.
Yeah, low odds are not bad odds, necessarily. There's plenty of times when a low chance is 100% worth it.
And conversely, that 5+ action did not work for the dwarves, but...
but he's behind at this point. He needs to do something.
Yeah, it looks like
this looks like it should be done.
Anyways. Might we actually see 2 scores from the Khemri today, which is not something you see very often, is it, Einir? Einir? Must have lost him along the way somewhere.
I once got real close to a 5-score game with Khemri.
Like 5 scores with Khemri?
Yeah, I was playing Khemri, and I was against ogres. It was beautiful. Outside of that game, I have never scored more than 2 with them, and I've scored 1 more than 2. So, yeah, 2's not super common. Anytime they score twice, reason to celebrate. Although I might be trying to set up a handoff to one of these Tomb Guardians and risk not getting it.
I mean, your thrower's at 11 now. 3 gets him to 14, which means he's relatively close to a next skill, which he really needs block, for example, but he's going to get it over time, and plus 11, you can get the MVP and get him a skill. If you can hand off to... Well, the 2 guys I would want to hand off to are probably at the bottom. Although he just, got his own SPPs.
That's a emerging star too. 42 SPP.
Oh wow, another one of the Seau family.
Yeah, this is only season 2 for these Khemri, so I think even the more developed ones, you have so much time, and I mean, if you can get, especially the block Mighty Blow, if you can get the block Mighty Blow to 31 and add guard, now all of a sudden that's a really nasty player.
Yeah, you essentially don't need to ever think about him again for MVPs. He's pretty much good to go. Yeah, I mean, I would prefer Heket or Nebhet, the other 2 at the bottom. They just need the second skill more, but yeah, like you said, Rabia or even Umi, certainly good targets as well.
Even Mosi, the Blitzer on 21.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, like, the chances are you're not going to be in a situation where it can actually cost you. I mean, if you end up in a situation where it can cost you, then maybe
you've done something wrong.
But, win's a win. Doesn't matter how much you win by. 3 SPP on a player that skills slowly is
gold.
Worth more. I mean, that, as you mentioned, that thrower is going to get. He's going to get his.
Eventually. Now, to be fair, we do have some ranking systems that take into account, like, margin of victory or, touchdown differential and stuff like that. So the 2-0 in the long run could help you in those things, but just having the team be better on the field is probably much more important. It doesn't look like he's going to try it, but certainly not handing off to a Tomb Guardian anytime soon.
Pretty much the only time I'll give a Tomb Guardian ball, if I'm up and they kick to me as a touchback, I might consider it.
Right.
Or on the, those, it bounced into a bunch of crowd and somehow the Tomb Guardian stuck his hand in and came out with the ball. And that's about it for me.
So you don't believe in the Saurus Scorus, for example? Another Agility 1 Brethren where you make him like a ball carrier or just give it to him more often than you would think. Like, that's not in the Khemri playbook?
Not Navy's playbook. I mean, if it happens and time's running down and it goes to a Tomb Guardian, I may just say, "Hey, run with it," because
emergency
situation, it's here. Why why mess with it? However, that being said, I don't go out of my way to try to give them ball opportunities.
I mean, that's fair. Tomb Guardians are a bit slow with 4, but the Saurus, when he has the ball in his hands, he's movement 6, he's big, he's scaly, he's tough to take down. Baz and I can disagree on this as much as we want, but the Saurus Chorus is the best play in the Lizard playbook, and I will fight with him on that subject to the end.
Yeah, you hand the ball to the Saurus when you're standing on the goal line in a dominant position.
Exactly.
And that is a great play. He does not carry the ball to get there. Because then you don't get there.
That's not true. I got to the championship game with that exact player. Didn't win it, unfortunately. Go ahead, Anya.
I got to throw a theoretical at you guys.
Okay.
How do you feel about the troll touchdown? Or, God forbid, the tree man touchdown?
Have you not heard of the legendary leaping troll dirty players that I used to see on the forums all the time? Paul Hicks, I think, was the originator of that.
I was briefly in a league where one of my opponents had a 4-edge Minotaur.
Ooh, that's kind of fun. Actually, I just got done with an SLA game the other day against the Slaanesh, Demons of Slaanesh.
Yeah, that's not cool though, because like they didn't earn that, you know.
No, I mean yes, the team is overpowered, but the big has 3 double skills, so it's a blodge, pro, like sidestep, like it's a freak of nature. But the Keeper of Secrets is an amazing big guy, and he was the target of a pass attempt during the game because he is like agility 3 with extra arms, so he's actually like a legitimate receiving target for a big, which is the strangest thing you'll ever see.
I actually think that's something Blood Bowl misses a little bit, the opportunity for big guy scores.
Just play Secret League then, man. It's wild, it's crazy, and it's a lot of fun.
I'm fine with my 1 league commitment right now.
That's fair. There is there are several Khemri variant rosters, and there's one that has Ushabti as the big guy instead of a Tomb King. You only get 2 of them, but they're Stand Firm and AV10, and they don't have Loner, if I recall. So
also MA6.
Wait, really?
Yeah, but they have Take Root.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I found it to be a very interesting roster. I think they have 4 blitzers to kind of counteract the loss of the 2 bigs, so it makes the team a bit faster. Xandri, if I recall, is the one that Rasmus uses, and they have both a thrower and a catcher. A catcher who's like strength 2, but agility 3 and dodge with like movement 8. And he actually beat me this season because he like threw a pass to that player on the final turn. And it's not like the TCU versus Navy where it's like desperation. Like this was like a legitimate play between relatively 2 decent positionals who are designed to do that. So I don't know. Maybe you'd be interested on a different take on Khemri.
I also got to say, I've always, as much as I hate passing, I've always been interested, not enough to do it, mind you, but interested in the what is it, the Hail Mary pass, diving catch, throw raw skeleton combo.
If you've come to talk about Hail Mary pass, you've come to the right place, because Baz here, he loves him some Hail Mary pass.
Hail Mary pass is great, diving catch is awful.
Well, it comes for free on my frog catchers in the NBFL, so maybe I'll peruse that option down the road. But that's it for us today. It's 2-0 in favor of Stephen F. Austin over Karak. The Dwarves got beat up pretty badly. Stephen F. Austin did what they needed to do to get both their season off on a good start, the NCBB season off on a good start, and the UAC conference, the new conference, headed up by Nelfine, off to a good start as well. So, good job from Durthru. Good attempt by Zedarog. Still a long season. I believe in you.
With niggled blitzers.
Yeah, I mean...
Blitzers, I mean, the runners are good, but blitzers, let's be honest, are kind of the straw that stirs the drink, as it were.
I suppose. But we'll have to get a new straw after this game, it looks like. So, that's it for us. Thank you for joining me, Einir and Baz. Wog was here earlier. Nelfine was here earlier, so I guess we'll go and watch the end of those respective games in the NBFL. So, we're officially back, everybody. Good luck this season. Have some fun, and let us know when you're playing.